All right, so why do we play Dungeons and Dragons? Why do we put all this time and effort into learning these complicated rule sets, especially if you're a dungeon master, to put this energy into building a world and crafting a story, and then having to go through the headache of all the nuanced learning how to run the game for your friends and arbitrating rules, and it's a lot to take on for a hobby. So why do we do it? Well, my mother-in-law is a very sweet lady, and she told me years ago when I started working at a factory, hey, don't talk about D&D. She was worried that it would alienate my coworkers and I wouldn't have any friends. Fast forward 6 years later, and all of my closest friends are guys that I played D&D with because I ignored her advice. Now, I love my mother-in-law. She cares about me. That's why she told me that. But I'm glad I didn't listen. And I've been thinking about this topic a lot lately, and I think that I can boil it down to 3 main reasons why we play D&D. Reason number 1. In Dungeons and Dragons, you can literally do anything you can think of. I mean, you can attempt to do it. You can roll for it. A few years ago, my daughter was like 4 years old, and she had played D&D her whole life. She was playing a video game called Horizon Zero Dawn. As she was playing, she wanted to pick a flower and give it to an NPC. And I had to break it to her that video games aren't like D&D. You can't just do whatever you want. If the programmers didn't think of it and put it in there, then you can't do it. So that freedom of choice, instead of having 2 or 3, maybe 4 dialogue choices, being able to say whatever you want and try to do whatever you want, that freedom is something that even the best CPUs, the best AI cannot achieve. They can't do what a human dungeon master can do and reactively build a world based on your decisions. Reason number 2, and what I think is probably the least important, is that rolling dice, failing or succeeding based on the random chance of a polyhedron object, gives your brain the same dopamine hit as gambling. The difference is in D&D, your character might die, but your life savings won't be lost, your wife won't leave you, and the bank won't take your house. But I do think that that's an important psychological reason why people enjoy D&D. The third, and what I think is probably the most important reason, is the exact antithesis of the advice that my mother-in-law gave me. The experiences that you go through with your friends at the D&D table are experiences that are the theme of a fantasy world. So you're fighting monsters, you're jumping to safety at the last second, your life is in danger, you're going through things that would traumatize a regular person, but you're going through them with your friends, and that bond of friendship is what helps you survive. And there are no bonds in real life that are as strong as trauma bonding. As awful as that may sound, good times do not bond people together the way that bad times do. Your closest friends, think about them. You've been through rough times together and you made it through by helping each other. And your brain has a hard time differentiating between those imagined shared memories that you guys create in this fictional fantasy world around a table playing D&D and your real life memories. So I think the most crucial, most important, most fulfilling and compelling reason to play D&D is because you will form lifelong friendships. All of my closest friends, save one that I've known since I was 7, have all come from playing games, mainly D&D. And that's why we play.